Alright guys, this is Mess Raw. I was trying to do like a regular YouTube Let's Play with State of Decay 2, with voiceover and everything and camera. But I was muted the entire time. Growing pains, growing pains. So I'll just do a little bit of a voiceover here on this episode. Let's watch it together, shall we? This is my nightmare zone. I'm using it to kind of like get better, stronger at the game. I've done Nightmare before, where I've never technically beat one, but I had basically beaten one. I think I had one Plague Heart left, but then I got doing something in real life and quit playing State of Decay 2. So my history with State of Decay is about the time that Lethal Zone came out, maybe like 4 weeks before that came out. I played the game for the first time on Game Pass. Played it for about a week and a half. Did 2 Dread Zones to completion, had a ton of fun. Maybe even did a normal zone in like one sitting because it was way too easy. And then I skipped Nightmare, went to Lethal, died in 5 minutes, and then tried a second Lethal. Made like 14 days, got wiped out by teleporting bloaters, and then my final 2 heroes, I think, died of a raid, a siege, where there was like 5 blood ferals or something insane. But it was a good time. Then I quit playing the game, and then I got it on Steam sale. So I've been playing for about a week, give or take, live on Twitch. Follow me on Twitch. I'm not a YouTuber, really. So this is my new hero. I just got here last night in real time, and because we lost our doctor, made a video about that. Doctor Feels Good passed away, sadly. In this episode, we actually find his car. I kind of forgot where it was. Wasn't really paying attention. I was going to go retrieve it when one of my buddies would log on. They don't really help me with this zone. They just kind of would help me drive things around. And I think my buddy gave me a couple plague samples when I first came in. But on Nightmare, plague samples aren't as scarce as they are in Lethal. In Lethal, it's like, you got to kill like 20 or 30 blood guys to get one, it feels like. So you'll see me up there talking and yapping away, thinking I'm talking to all you fine folks out there. But we'll ignore that. I'll leave the portrait there because, man, am I attractive. Now, I don't have editing software. I just got a new PC. And even the editing software I had before, I think to be able to utilize my GPU to process it, I had to pay for it. It was called DaVinci. It was okay, but I don't know how to really edit. My editing is turning the record button on and off. It takes everything I can do to get my OBS appropriate and audio levels. I even just got, like, I've been streaming for like a year, give or take, off and on, and I've been using like a headset mic, doing all the things that you're not supposed to do. Took me forever just to get a a streaming camera and whatever. It's a hobby. It's to meet other gamers, really, because people in my real life, they didn't game, and then now I've got a nephew and a brother who does game, but they play like Hell Let Loose, which is a hardcore World War II first person shooter, which is okay, but it's not the type of game that I'd put a lot of hours in. Could be worse. So anyway, I started streaming to meet like my main games like Mountain Blade, Warband, and then Mountain Blade 2, Electric Boogaloo, Bannerlord. That's what I started streaming on, was a mod for, it's called A World of Ice and Fire for Warband. Now this game, State of Decay, I don't play zombie games. I like zombie movies. I've played zombie games before, but I don't like survival games, where you spawn naked, punch trees, build a wooden hut, skin a rabbit to build a nuclear reactor. All that, it's not my Jimmy Jam. But this game was free on Game Pass, and so I got it, and man, is it addicting. The combat's fun. It's rewarding. The other thing I like about it is it's sandbox, open world, because I love sandbox. The game that I played a lot of is EVE Online, which is a sandbox MMO. And in that game, when you take a loss, you lose everything you had on you for the most part. And this game's the same way. Like, I got emotionally connected to a couple of my heroes, especially when they had a good story. And then when they die, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good at all. But it makes the stories more valuable, kind of like what Achilles said in Troy. You can only be heroic if you're chancing loss. That's not verbatim, but that's close enough. So what I was doing here was trying to retrieve this sports car. I wanted to kill a Plague Heart for you guys because I just got a 50 caliber weapon. I've never used them. I've never bought them because I thought they were too expensive, but I wanted to use one on a Plague Heart to see how many rounds it would take. So this is just pure testing. Now, I don't Google games. like this to min-max. You know, like I know there's probably videos like 101 tips for the new bro, and I could sit there and already find it all out. But you know, I'm kind of an older guy, so I remember a time before you could Google things. So I enjoy playing single player games as if it was pre-Google. Now, don't get me wrong. If I'm playing a PvP game, I will study it like a college course, you know, because I don't like losing based off of ignorance. I like to go in with a good game plan. But this is just me kind of, you know, leveling her up because she is new. We'll go ahead and move it along, move it along, move it along, move it along. Now, my goal was to do my Let's Play like 30-minute episodes with my live commentary. But you're getting a voiceover this go around. And you're going to ask me, did I write a script? No, I don't write scripts. But the other thing I like about this game is the stories, because my thing is I play games for stories. Like I'm a big history buff because history are just stories with beginnings, middles, and ends. You know, I enjoy studying them more than contemporary, like politics, for example, because I don't know how contemporary politics are going to end. You know, I'll be dead by the time we know the ramifications of the choices we're making. But when you study history, you know the ramifications of the choices they made, and you learn a lot that way as well. So this game gives your guys backstories, and then I come up with little stories of them myself once I get emotionally connected to them. Like, I don't even learn their names until they do something heroic. Now, Pastoral is noticing an infestation, and they bother him like a booger stuck to your nose. And they kind of look like a booger stuck to the map. So we want to take care of such things. I think this is the portion where I'm supposed to tell you to like, comment, and all that stuff. Do it if you feel the mood, but no worries. I mainly just put stuff on this channel so I can watch it many years from now. Because I do Twitch, you know, I'm a streamer. And they delete all my videos, or my, you know, VODs. Well, they do allow me to have like highlights and stuff, so I guess I could do that. But also when you're live streaming, your quality is way worse than you can record at. For example, right now I'm recording at 50,000 kilobytes per second. I can only upload to Twitch at 6,000. For you that don't know what I'm talking about, it just looks better when it's recorded than it does when it's live stream. Now you can make live streams look really, really good, but you usually have to have a dual PC setup, you know. And I don't make near enough money streaming for that kind of mess. I just bought a brand new PC and it damn near bankrupted me. It's a little bit of hyperbole, but not by much, if you know the prices. I had to buy a pre-built. And even with that, I was lucky. Right here, I'm making fun of the fact that the impact meshes are pretty bad in this game. In some places, you get stuck on invisible things that aren't supposed to be there. If you don't know, impact meshes are what you're actually touching, but what your eyes are seeing are the textures and models. They don't always line up. You know, that's why you can like run through some things that you shouldn't run through, and you get stuck on things that looks like you wouldn't get stuck on. So our hero came back here to deal with a siege and to drop... Actually, I think we just came back here to drop stuff off, and then a siege happened. I like sieges because I get 200 influence. What I don't like about sieges is on lethal, you know, you can get blood ferals, and then your buddies are kind of silly. You know, they don't stay on like the second story and just shoot the bad guys, especially with their magical infinite bullets. Like that's how I lost my my legitimate lethal 9 months ago, because I was doing pretty well on that one. I've got a couple highlights on my Twitch channel of some of my favorite heroes being killed. I got this new foam stuff, which I'm a big fan of, but what I don't like about it is it didn't heal my my wounds, or my injuries, I should say. So I still have to utilize 3 medical supplies to do that. But since scarcity on lethal's not oppressive as it is on lethal, or I said nightmare, I will always mess that up because nightmare sounds like it's the more hardcore version, because at one point it was the hardest core version. So lethal is the hardest core one now, of course. That's my Discord. We will ignore that for now as I'm doing my voice over. Or I guess we could pause it. Do I want to pause it? Nah, we don't want to pause anything. All right, so I think we're done with the siege. So I'm basically telling you guys my theory on building things and how it's going and how I need to get a new doctor, all those kinds of things. So we're going to go ahead and zip. I'm also explaining how they've separated the difficulty levels because I think when I played the first time, there was only one difficulty level. Now they've separated it because I love the action of Nightmare or of Lethal, but I hate the scarcity of Lethal. So, you know, lethal in combat and the community could be like nightmare and nightmare or dread and dread. To me, that'd be fun because I think nightmare is the best balanced difficulty level overall. Like if I could only choose in one category, it'd be nightmare because it's very difficult. You'll still die. Hell, I died on dread zone because I was being silly the other day helping my buddy out because I didn't retreat against a juggy and like 50 zombies. Thought I could handle it. I was incorrect. Well, I handled it just fine, but my hero kind of went down in a blaze of glory. All right, so now we want to go try to take out an infestation. This is me practicing my Morning Star. We've already killed the Screamer. That's usually who I try to take out first. Right here, I'm basically just explaining my theory on how the game likes to cheat. Like that thing the zombie just did there, that sprint, whatever, they can go like 15 yards with that. I've seen it happen against NPCs. They also will spawn zombies outside of your periphery. That's just game balance. They're trying to simulate horror movies, you know, so sometimes when I first started playing, I thought I was screwing up. Like, how did I lose track of a zombie that came at me from the right? Well, it's because he spawned there. So that's their simulation of movies where, you know, like Walking Dead, you know, TV shows, to where like the guys are sitting there out in the open in the sunlight and all of a sudden a zombie magically spawns behind them and bites them on the ear. Now there's a theory on that. The theory is, you know, they're all shooting weapons constantly. None of them are wearing hearing protection and they all yell when they speak to each other. So the theory is everybody on The Walking Dead are quite deaf. And that's why zombies are allowed to sneak up on them because the zombie, you know, they can't hear the zombie. I like that theory, because if you've ever shot weapons in real life without hearing protection, your ears will ring for a couple days, and you probably lost a couple decibels on your ability to hear things. So that's something you always kind of sort of want to be aware of. All right, what do we got here?
That's not opening.
All right, I think what I'm doing right now is I'm just trying to fool the zombies, because that's my favorite strategy, is just to use walls, buildings, break line of sight, all those kinds of things. Apology for the Discord. Normally Discord mutes when I open up OBS, but I think I stopped it or something. Because I always have OBS open now when I'm gaming to try to like record highlights or whatever. That's one negative thing about being a YouTuber or Twitcher is like you can't just game. Well, I mean, you totally can. That's not literal. But you always feel like, oh, I should have highlighted that or something. It's like if I didn't record it, did it really happen? Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. All right, I believe I don't finish this infestation because I didn't want to burn through all my resources trying to kill all these guys. I wanted to really test out my 50 caliber on a plague heart for you dudes. Because this will be like my first Let's Play for my Nightmare Zone here. And then I'll be live streaming my next lethal run. Because I got some guys with good skills on a lethal run. One's got fishing, another one's got recycling. We want to give that a whirl. Alright, so let's go ahead and do this since we don't finish this off. So I jump in my MX-5 and we're looking for a Plague Heart, which we are going to be going after shortly. So let's go ahead and zip there. I don't think anything super exciting happened. Oh, this is where I found the car of Dr. Feelsgood. He died a couple days ago, real time. That's his ride. Very sad, very sad. So now I'm going to switch out. I also left some food in his car. I believe I already retrieved his goods, you know, because I don't like to see their tombstone on the map, so I always retrieve their goods just to, you know, like ceremoniously bury them. That'd be a cool thing that they add in the game if you could go bury your companions. I do like how they put the tombstones on the community screen.
The longer I stay in plague territory.
So now we got Dr. Feelsgood's flaming muscle car from the 70s. Kind of looks like an Impala. And then I'll go retrieve that MX-5 whenever I can get a real-life buddy to help me drive it. I know I could probably get there on foot, but what am I, a peasant? I'm not going to hoof it there. It's bad enough. That's how I know scarcity's not as, or doesn't feel as bad as it used to be, because I remember on my lethal zone, my first attempt, I went a long time without a car. Like, I could not find a repair kit or a fuel, and I think there was only 3 cars on the map. The entirety of the map only had 3 cars. And scarcity was just kicking my ass. But now they've got new stuff to me. Like, the whole plague territory is new to me. You know, being able to upgrade your outpost to produce more goods, that's all new. There's also, like, new, like, you can specialize your outposts. I haven't played with that yet, so I don't know what that's about. Hopefully in the future, though. Alright, so I'm shopping for the Plague Heart, but not only am I shopping for a Plague Heart to kill, I'm trying to find a good spot to park the car without getting bloated to death. I'm worried about the bloater. That is a whole bunch of Blood Plague guys, and I don't really have a weapon to deal with them. I have a 50 caliber with like 12 rounds, I think. I think I have a full clip and then 1 reload's worth. So I'm trying to sneak over here a little bit, but I do believe I get spotted by one of these yahoos, and they scream the song of their people, and that brings all the boys to my yard. And I've got a milkshake, but not a milkshake quite to deal with all those guys. So right now I'm thinking, like, how many rounds is it going to take to kill this Plague Heart? You know, is it 6? Is it 2? I don't know. Never used the 50 caliber before. Because in my dread zones, I would just blow them up. You know, I would just make a bunch of bombs. Usually I'd use, like, box mines or something like that. And then blow them up that way. It was super easy, barely an inconvenience, as that YouTuber guy always says. But in Lethal Zone, I notice, because I do watch a couple guys play State of Decay 2. Well, mainly one guy, a guy called Sawsome Gaming. Check him out. I'll link it below. He's a cool cat. He plays this game with his life coach, his daughter, which is hilarious. But I see those guys always using heavy weapons, like melee weapons. And I think they do that because, you know, they don't have to farm resources to make explosives. And I feel like when I did Lethal Zone months ago, or, you know, 6 months ago, that it was taking way too many explosives. Like, I think it was taking, like, I don't know, 4 or 8 C4 charges or something like that to blow up a Plague Heart. So it's almost like they had a resistance to explosives that the other weapon types didn't quite have the resistance. They definitely have more HP, but it was like oppressively bad, because if you don't know, making that many explosives is quite expensive. And when you were dealing with the balance of scavenging at the time, it was just not good. Not good at all. So good old Jarvis here. I believe her real name is probably something like Sonya. But her friends call her Jarvis because she's very intelligent. She's a very smart lady.
The better.
So she's named after the AI, or her nickname is the name after the AI in Iron Man, who turns into Vision. Spoiler alerts. Alright, so we throw an explosive, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. Then I think it takes 3 more 50 cals, and I don't remember if I used any more explosives. Now we got a feral. Luckily it's not a blood feral. That's because we're playing on Nightmare, not lethal. So I'm going to use the fence to break their aggression, hopefully, but then they've got reinforcements coming. I don't have a gun to where I can just wipe all these guys out, because I can only produce 9mm and heavy caliber weapons. I don't have an assault rifle gun press.
Time to reload.
And I've also got Cleo weapons, but Cleo weapons I'm running low on, so I didn't want to use those. And I don't want to have to rely on Cleo weapons, because I know that... Oh yeah, there we go. Nice. Plague Heart destroyed.
As long as that Plague Heart is nearby, this place can't really be secure.
So it looks like when the Plague Heart dies, it's just the blood zombies that die. So like that feral that attacked me, I believe is still around, because he's not a blood feral. I never knew like why some died and some didn't, because I think I've been killed like right after I killed a Plague Heart, but it was probably by a vanilla zombie. You know, like, so like in this case, if I was playing lethal, that feral would have died because it would have been a blood feral. You know, but I would have already been dead because a blood feral would have eaten my face off. Well, I don't know. I probably would have got away from it. I don't know. It's hard to say. Hard to say. Well, that's the end of this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching to completion. If you did watch to completion, I believe I want to wish you a happy evening, a glorious morning, or a heroic afternoon, depending on where you're at in this world. And I hope to catch you next time. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch. That's where I do all my best work. All right, guys, take care.